Well, hello, everybody. It is Friday. It is a beautiful day. It is a time that we're going to come together for a conversation. Just for today is the name of the conversation that we're going to have today. Going to give folks a few seconds to come on live with me if they can. If not, we'll just keep it going. But I hope you're having a beautiful day so far. For me today, it has been an amazing day. Lots of things in recovery. I got to walk with someone this morning in just a beautiful walk in recovery who has just been resilient through some hard times. And she is doing fantastic. And so I got to experience that with her today. So I am on cloud nine and praying hard that things continue to grow in recovery for her. But today is a beautiful day, and we are here for just for today. This is a conversation around a slogan. For me, I'm a person with lived experience around the family side of the disease of addiction. Codependency, dependency is, a family disease. Drug addiction, all of these things affect the family. And I became just as sick and unwell as my loved ones. So I had to get in recovery to find my life. And so I had an Al-Anon, which is a wonderful program, and had a sponsor, worked the 12 steps myself, and found my own way to recovery. And one of the slogans was called Just for Today. And it was amazing slogan for me. So what it basically means is just for today, you could consider something. Maybe you couldn't do it for a lifetime or even for a week or two, but maybe just for today, you could think about it, try it out, experience it, and see if it is helpful in your walk in recovery. So just for today, we are going to be talking about something that I saw the other day, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And so I started diving into it in my meditations this week. And that's what I normally do. I will find things that pop up on my social media or that is brought to me by someone I'm supporting or a coworker that just really touches my heart. And so that's what happened with this one. And so I hope you will find it helpful. So we are going to be talking about today. Let me get my caption up here. All right. We only live once. Wrong. That is a wrong statement. So what the inspirational saying was, what it was trying to get you to think about was that we say that all the time. You only live once. You only live once. Well, this challenged my thinking because it challenged everybody's thinking who read it and meditated on it, because that was wrong. We only die once. We live every day. So when you sit back and you think about that, it puts a quite different spin on it. I think we just use that slogan all the time. We only live once. Go for it. You only live once. We use it so much that I think it loses its meaning. But when we flip that thing around and say, no, that's wrong. We only die once. We live every day. We live every day. So not just once, but we live every day. And so when we think about living every day, there's some things we need to think about there, because I think for me, I spent many years, and still do sometimes, not living in the day, living in the past or living in the future, but not living every day like I'm supposed to. And I have found myself doing the same thing, thinking about, well, you only live once, but I don't really use it like I should. It doesn't have the same meaning for me. But when I think about that I only die once, that I live every day, it's a new meaning. It's a new meaning. So we're going to talk about that this morning, about what that looks like when we can stop using that slogan, we only live once, and really think about how wrong that is, and flip it around that we only die once and that we live every day. So thank you guys for coming on. Please chat with me. Let me know you're out there. Please add to the conversation. I love it when you do that. This is a conversation. We learn from each other. And here at Promise Resource Network, that's the way all of our classes are. Before COVID and even after, during COVID, when we had to go to virtual classes, we love to have conversations because we can learn from each other. And you guys have things to add to the conversation today. So just for today, I want you to consider to stop saying we only live once and consider that we only die once, but we live every day. So what does that mean? So when we think about what I began to read about when I kind of dove into some of the things I like to read in my meditation, and a lot of it comes from Al-Anon and AA and NA materials that I've gathered over the years. Those are my go-tos. I'm living in recovery, but also work in recovery with folks from all types of things. And so I'm always using those things because we can speak the same language. So as I dove into this thing, I started putting together some ideas about how we can concentrate more on that we live every day and that we only die once, right? This is the only life we have, right? This is it. And that's my belief. And that, we spend most of our time either sitting in the past or thinking about tomorrow, and we don't live for today. And we throw that slogan around, you only live once. I don't ever say that much to myself, but I have said it a lot to other people, like, yeah, go do that. You only live once. I don't think I'm going to say that anymore because it has a new meaning for me now. So what does that look like for us? So one of the things that was a theme as I began to look into this thing is that you got to decide what's important to you. It sounds like it's easy enough, but many folks that I sit with on a daily basis can't really tell me what's important to them. A lot of things that I hear people say is what's important for other people, maybe for their family or their children, their spouse, their significant other, but not for themselves. Like, what is important to you? If this was the only day you had, what kind of things would you be doing? What would you make sure you got done today? What would you be involved in today, right? So decide what's important to you. At the end of the day, you're the only person who will be around for every moment of your life. Seriously. So much of your life, I know for mine, I'm kind of a loner. So a lot of my time is spent alone. And so people don't know what I'm doing. They don't know my thoughts. They don't know what I'm engaging in. So a lot of the things that you do, it's your moments in your life. It's only yours. So do what makes you happy. And one of the things that I read said, and if you do what makes you happy, everything else will fall into place. We don't structure our day like that. So just for today, I want you to consider, could you structure your day, even if it's just for today, to do what makes you happy? To really have the faith and the belief that if you did what made you happy today, that you would, everything else would fall into place. So some of the things that could make us happy, and I'd love for you to chat about that. What does make you happy? So if we're going to embrace this thought about that, we don't, we only die once, and that we live every day, right? Versus that, you only live once is false. So if we think about it in that way, what does make us happy? What does that look like for you? Well, some people may say, taking care of their children, maybe their career, working on projects in their career. Maybe it's things that they're doing around the house, being creative. I don't know. What are some of the things that you are happy about, that you really, if you think about it, you might could include in every day, right? What brings you joy? Some folks love to cook and bake. Those are some of the things that make us happy. Some folks like to connect with friends and family. Maybe it's to go on a walk, whatever it is. But we are not too kind to ourselves sometimes. We say, well, I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll do that this weekend. And we just keep piling up those things, and we're not living our life every day. We're just kind of, letting life just happen. And we're just hanging on for dear life instead of intentionally, purposefully including things that will make us happy. Thank you, Ms. Kim Porter. Glad you're here. So our topic today is that we only live once is wrong. We only die once. We live every day, and we deserve to live our lives the way we should live them every day. And deciding what's important to us is one of the steps that we can take. We've talked a lot about the difference between joy and happiness, and happiness with, that person makes you happy. But if that person is not in your life, can you still be happy, right? Where is your joy? Your joy can't be taken away. In the midst of all the things in the world that's going around us, we can still have joy, but we might not be happy, right? So there's a difference. So when we think about being purposeful about what brings us joy in our life, we deserve that. We deserve it. Because at the end of the day, you're the only person who will be around for every moment of your life. Here's a big one. Taking more risk. So if we only die once and we're going to live every day, can we, for today, think about taking some risk? Sometimes there's danger involved in life, but every reward carries a risk with it. Making connections with other people is very risky for some of us. In our recoveries, we've lost trust, faith in other people. We've went through abusive relationships. We've encountered some things that just stripped away our trust. So taking a risk in making connections with people can be hard. So, because we don't know how it's going to end, right? We don't know. So usually the things that have the greatest rewards can have a risk to it, right? A big risk. I remember a time in my life when I was a little girl that we were on the lake, and there was a gentleman who had an airplane that landed on the water and then would take off from the water. And I wanted so bad to get in that. And my mother said, no, I think I was, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9. And my mother went into the home where the party was. And I was standing there with my dad, and I was crying. And I said, man, I really want to go on there. And he said, well, go. I said, well, Mama said no. That's one thing I learned in my life from my parents, not to pit them against each other, because I lost every time because they ganged up on me. And he said, well, what's going to happen? I said, well, Mama's going to be mad. I'm probably going to get a spanking or whatever, put on restriction. He said, is it worth the risk, Lisa, to go up in that plane and have that thrill that you want so bad? Is it worth it, knowing that your mom might come out here and, you're going to get in big trouble with her? Because I'm just telling you, this is a time that you can make a decision. Is it worth the risk? And I said, heck yeah. I jumped on that airplane and I had the time of my life. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I really forgot about what was going to happen when that plane landed. Guess who was standing on the pier? My mama. Yep, she was waiting. Arms crossed, madder than a hornet. And she said, young lady, you did something I told you not to do. And I did get in trouble. Not too bad. A little bit. But I kept thinking to myself, it was worth it. It was worth every second on that plane. So sometimes something could seem dangerous, or maybe we're not quite ready for, but we're just ready to dive in. Is it worth the risk? Are you a risk taker when it comes to bringing joy and happiness in your life? If you've never taken a risk, you'll never get anywhere in life, and you certainly won't learn how to live life in the fullest, is one of the passages that I read. And I really thought about that a lot. All the things that I've done in my life, and I've done a lot, have really, there was a risk for all of them. Every job change, there was a risk. Every time that I tried something new in my life, there was a risk, right? But it was worth it. When we get out of our comfort zone, we can really grow. When we stay in our comfort zone, that's what we are, we're comfortable. I just see myself sitting on the couch eating chips, right? Watching television, not willing to get up and take a risk on that day. But we live every day. We don't know when our end date is. We don't know when we expire, right? You know, when our shelf life is done. We don't know. Thank God. We don't know, or at least I don't know. So I need to live my life every day, because we do die once. And when we die, we're done here on this earth, right? So living every day is a pretty big deal that we do take very lightly. We say it, but are we doing it? Without stepping outside what you're really comfortable with, you will cease to learn and kind of get stagnant in both your personal and professional life. So even in your professional life, sometimes we're asked to step up and do a project. Here at PRN, we got some amazing projects going on. And my coworkers, one of my coworkers just has tremendous ideas all the time. He's just brilliant. Mr. Aaron Wells is his name. Most of you know him. And when he comes up with an idea, what he does is he brings us all together. Is it a risk? Absolutely. It might fail. We may not have what we need to pull it off. But we sit back and we plan and we do the best we can. Is it worth the risk? Absolutely. Some of the big things that we got going on here at PRN have some risk to them. But without taking that risk, we won't see the fruits. Somebody will be touched. Somebody will be blessed at some of the big projects that we got going on right now. And we're willing to take the risk because we don't know how it's going to play out. Some of these things that we're doing here are for the very first time we've ever done stuff like this before. Doing virtual classes was risky. We don't know if people are going to watch. We don't know who's going to come on live with us and talk to us, right? Is it worth the risk being vulnerable, getting out of our comfort zone? Heck yeah, it really is. It really is. So think about it just for today. While it may feel uncomfortable, taking a risk can be as simple as saying yes. Just saying yes the next time a friend wants you to go out to dinner when you usually just stay home alone. Now that COVID restrictions are kind of lifting, we can go out and have picnics. We can go to the park. You know, we just practice our safe distance and all the things that we need to do. Still being very aware of COVID is still alive and well from what I hear. So, but we can do more. So the next time someone says, hey, why don't you come on out with us tonight? Or come join this meeting with us. Or hey, you know, why don't this weekend, let's just not do what we normally do and let's just go fishing. That big responsibility person that I am, well, I need to clean my house. I need to do all this big laundry list of things that none of that really brings me joy, really. Makes me feel better when it's done, but it always just gets dirty again. I've never known anybody at their end of their life have memories of how wonderful they kept their house. They were talking about memories where they went fishing and they made their memories, right? So just for today, consider that. Maybe there's someone that's already asked you to step out of your comfort zone and try something new. Maybe do it today. It's risky. You might be around some people you don't know. You might have to travel. I don't know. But for today, I ask, just consider taking that risk and see what happens. I bet you it'll be a wonderful time. I bet you'll be glad. You're making memories. You're being purposeful about your life, understanding that you die once and you live every single day. All right. So let's see who we got going on here. So yeah, Miss Kim Porter's in the house enjoying the topic. Thank you, Miss Kim. Me and Miss Kim, we're the same age. We have a lot of the same interests, and we've had some good conversations around this very thing about living our lives and dealing with all the stuff that we deal with, taking care of ourselves. And Miss Kim, you're doing a great job taking care of yourself. I'm real proud of you. And Miss Lisa's on with us. My joy comes when my spiritual condition and my purpose line up and carry me to my dreams. I love that. When my spiritual condition, I like that, spiritual condition and my purpose line up. You've heard that slogan that says, when the stars line up perfectly. Well, for Lisa, I do agree, and I'm Lisa. So us Lisas, we're thinking alike today, that spiritual condition and your purpose lining up is a pretty big deal. Lisa also says that I have lost faith in people. I have lost faith in myself, but I never stop believing in the power of my God to carry me through. Absolutely. And Lisa, I just want to talk to you about that a little bit. And those of us that are listening, I agree. I've got some trust issues myself, and that taking a risk, maybe just today think about exercising your faith in someone, or a group, put yourself out there a little bit. Yeah, we're going to be guarded and we're not going to be perfect the first time, but stepping out, every relationship, every connection you make is a risk, because we cannot tell if that person is completely trustworthy, if they're going to be the same kind of friend that we are to them, if who they say they are or whatever group they are, if they really walk what they talk. I get it. But Lisa, you stay true to you. But just for today, consider taking maybe some few small risks around some folks, right? And make some good connections. So Lisa also says that it is worth the risk. It has been worth every second of pain for that one moment of purpose. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Let's take that first step out of a sinking boat and walk on the water of recovery. I love that. It should have been the just for today with Lisa and Lisa today. Lisa, you got it going on today. Thank you so much for adding to this conversation. We really need that here in all of our classes. We present things, but we don't have everything. You guys have so much to give. So, someone who watches this now or who watches it later is going to be able to see the comments that you guys make. You guys are champions. So please, anytime, chat away. Put things out there that can build each other up in recovery. Thank you, Lisa. You're amazing. All right, let's see what else we got. So I love this one. So if we're going to live today, recognizing that we die once and we live every day, right? Just for today, can we show some love? Well, as I've been reading this and studying it this week, I got the opportunity to show love today. I was working with one of my ladies that I support. She is on her road to recovery. So proud of her. And we were transitioning from one recovery place to another recovery place today. And in the transition, we were at a stoplight. And a lady walks up to us in the vehicle with the red light, and she was asking for some financial love. She was hungry. And so I quickly dug in my little bit of stash that I have, and I gave her what I had. And so my person that I was supporting, we began to talk about that, about we're given opportunities every day to show love. And I was sharing with her that I try to keep money. I don't have a lot of money, but I try to keep money or waters and things like that to hand out to folks who are in need. Because as I travel around, I get presented that opportunity a lot. And so we were talking about showing love, and we were talking about, I've had critics in my life, naysayers that said, you shouldn't give people money. You are promoting what they're not doing. You don't know what they're going to do with that money. You should not be enabling people. Well, I don't agree. And I stand firm on it because my God has convicted me of several things. Number one, what they do with that money is none of my business. I got the opportunity to help, to show some love. So from my hand to theirs was my responsibility. After that, what they do with it is with them, right? And I shared that I heard a testimony. So if you're a person that's a naysayer about reaching out and helping our folks in our community that are struggling financially with food, whatever, shelter, whatever, I want to share this with you. This is a huge show in love. I had a lady that came to PRN and gave a testimony in one of my classes that said this. She said, I made a decision about 5 years ago to get clean and sober. And I needed $1 more to buy a bus ticket because the detox was really, really far away from where I was. And I started asking people for $1. She said, so many people walked by her and wouldn't even look at her or just give her that shame look, blame look. You know that look, right? You're less than me. Look at you out here begging. She said one man approached her, gave her the $1, and he said, God bless you. And he kept moving. She said, I really wish I could find that man because he saved my life. I was able to get the bus ticket, get on the bus. I went to the detox. I went into the next stage of my treatment, a 28-day program. And I've been 5 years clean and sober. She said that $1 that a kind man took out of his wallet put me on the path. Her God used him to show some love to her. You don't know what showing love, how it will come back to you. You never know. This man probably has no idea what that $1 did for a sister in recovery. I wish he could know. But I know that my God has probably blessed him 100 times over for being able to see a need and meeting it and not worrying what showing that love was going to look like. It's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to show love, right? When we can. So, of course, our family and friends, they always appreciate us when we're able to show love and appreciation every day. This made me think about my parents. I am so fortunate to still have my mom and dad in my life, alive and well. And my dad's 80 and my mom's 78. And they are still kicking and doing wonderful. So I am so blessed to have my mom and dad still. But I take it for granted. I don't show enough love. We should all live like our days are really numbered. But as our friends and our family members do get older, right? We're still busy people, right? I'm older too, and my kids are busy too. But we get so wrapped up, we don't show each other enough love each and every day. I need to reach out to my parents every day, if it's just a text or an email or a phone call, to let them know I care about them, right? Because those moments can turn into hours, those hours turn into days, and those days turn into months. And the next thing you know, you look down and it's been a whole month since you have shown love to someone you care about, right? Showing love. Like I explained, the stranger today, all of us, just for today, if you will look, you will be presented a way to show love to a stranger today. If you are out in your community, I promise you, you're driving, you're in the grocery store, wherever you're at, I promise you, if you will get out of yourself for a minute and live today, I promise you, you will see somebody that needs something that you could give. Might not be financially, it might just be helping, right? When we today got to the place that we were going, my sweet lady had tons of stuff to take with her, very heavy things for her next transition. And these total strangers just came out of nowhere that said, hey, we'd like to help you get those things in. Big, strong guys, right? And I was like, yay, right? They will never know what my person, my wonderful lady that's now in recovery, what we went through this morning traveling an hour and a half to get back to Charlotte for her to go in her next transition, how tired we are, how tired she really is, right? Because she's just went through a lot. These strangers showed up with muscles and they took care of everything. They'll never know how much that took off of us, that we had time together before I told her goodbye, because I needed to come do this class. Something that simple. Here's one. Are you taking a risk in romance? So if you have a romantic interest in someone, why not? Go for it. Let that person know how you feel, right? We're always worried about getting hurt. We really are. So many people won't take a risk by letting others know how we feel about them in a relationship like that. We've been hurt. We've been abused. Our trust that Lisa was talking about, faith. All of a sudden we start thinking, romance isn't for me. Love, that kind of love's not for me. Well, you know what? If you're thinking about it, it probably is in your spirit that romance is there for you, right? Is it worth taking a risk? Absolutely. Do we need to protect ourselves? That's good self-care. Have our boundaries, right? So if that relationship doesn't end like we were hoping, we have done good self-care. We're more aware of our surroundings and how to do that. But yeah, love, that kind of love is worth the risk. It really is. So just think about it. There are a lot of ways that you may end, and the only one that can keep a lot of people that you want to meet, and the only way that you can keep them in your life forever or for a season even is to let them know, show them some love, be able to take that risk, being vulnerable to let folks know how you feel about them, right? But before we do that, we need to make sure we're in a good place, that we've really thought that through. But being able to show love, it will come back to you, whether it's to a stranger or to someone that we got our eye on, all right? All right, let's see who we got chatting. Thank you, Lisa, for your comment. You're amazing. Lisa says, we are also given opportunities every day to show faith through the strength of our recovery. And God says, whatsoever you do to the least of these, my little ones, you do unto me. Exactly, right? We never know when we show that kind of love to strangers, people we don't know their walk. We don't know where they're coming from, And Lisa, I love that scripture. I am a believer myself. And I love that scripture, and I love the fact that we don't have to carry this burden of trying to figure people out before we show love, right? What are you going to do with that dollar? Right? You're going to go buy drugs with it? Are you going to buy alcohol with it? Are you going to buy food with it? What are you going to do with that dollar? We don't have to do that. It's none of our business, number one. Our business is given the opportunities to show the love. Erin says inspiring just for today. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's get in here because our time gets away from us so fast. We say this all the time in a lot of our classes around a lot of topics or themes. Live in the present. Really? Are you? Are you? So what we're talking about today is we only die once and live every day instead of we only live once. That makes you think a minute. We only die once, we live every single day. So are we really living in the present? That's another cliche thing that we say all the time. I say it a lot. We teach it a lot here at PRN. We have surrounded this live in the present, be intentional about your day in a lot of things we talk about. But are you? Or is it something we just fly out of our mouth? Your past is important to learn from, but your future is important to work towards. So the past we learn, right? But the future is what we're working towards each and every day. The things that we're putting in our lives, the risks that we're taking to try something new, to get out of our comfort zone, right? The showing people love. These are the things that we really, if we try and are intentional, we could include in our everyday life. Not just once a week, but every day. These are the things that build a strong joy foundation, right? Happiness comes and goes. Like when it's cold and rainy, I ain't happy. Sun shining, I'm happy, right? So my happiness is dependent on the weather, right? But my joy is still there, right? It's a foundation. These things can add to it. At the end of the day, the only thing that exists outside of your head is the present, right? The present moment. So this is another word we throw around all the time. Well, how do you get present? People say, well, take a mindfulness class. Well, what the heck does that, what if you don't even know what that means? Or what if that you've taken mindfulness classes and you're still not in the present? We're making it too hard, right? So being mindful is just noticing things, right? Noticing your surrounding. When you go outside to check your mail, do you stop for a moment to hear the birds? Do you stop for a moment to look at the flowers? Do you stop for the moment to see just your neighborhood, what's going on around there? When you go to the grocery store, this is my worst place where I get out of my head when I go to the grocery store. I am just like a robot going through that thing with my little buggy, right? Putting the same things in there, just mindless. It's just mindless for me. I buy the same things every week. How many opportunities I missed even in the grocery store because I'm not in the present. I'm thinking about all kinds of things. I'm not looking for opportunities to show love. I may have even walked by someone that I don't even know, right? Or some moment, even in the grocery store, that would have brought joy in my life. We do that all the time. Have you driven to work or driven somewhere and gotten home and went, how did I get here? I don't even remember driving home. Wow, right? You were so into your head that you weren't even in the present. You don't even know what you passed. You don't even know the wonderful, beautiful sights that you passed that you missed. I've done that a lot. So it's just getting in your car or going wherever you're going and just taking a deep breath. It's just that simple and say, okay, this is my purpose of being here. Let me see everything, all the sights, all the sounds, all the smells, all the opportunities to build my joy, to build my life today. So going to the grocery store may not really be about going to buy groceries that day. It may be something bigger if you're living in the presence. Gratitude is another tool that we use to live in the present, right? Because if we are in gratitude mode, we're living in the present, right? So it may be we always tell people this, try to write down, you probably do this in your own recovery, in your own programs. You may have been told to write down 3 or 4 things every day that you're grateful for. Just keep that list going, right? That practice that, we can do. Count your blessings. My grandmother used to tell me that all the time. Lisa, you need to count your blessings. You need to enjoy your children right now. I know that they're still in diapers and they're keeping you up at night and they're making messes all over your house and you're having to juggle their life and work and all these things. But enjoy your children. Be grateful for this time in their life because it'll be gone just like that. She used to tell me that all the time. Lisa, count your blessings. Your children are healthy. They're, growing. You're too worried about them doing their own things, right? So you can breathe a little easier. Missed moments, right? Being able to count your blessings in the present. All right. I like this one. So I put all this together from several readings, and some of them had the same things, but this one, I love this. Ignore the haters. How many of us have haters out there? Oh, yeah, you do. I just spoke with a very significant person in my life is a big hater when it comes to me giving stuff, right? Used to give me heck for that. I remember collecting things one year around Christmas for a family, and that person said to me, you know what? I bet every church in that community is bringing presents over there. I bet that person is going to have more presents for their children than you are. And I looked at that person and I said, I hope so. I hope so. Ignore the haters. There's always going to be haters. No matter what you're doing, what you decide to do with your life, there's always somebody around to point out the many things that the downfall of giving Christmas presents to a family. Well, they're beating the system. They're getting presents from everybody. They probably got more money than you got, Lisa. Right? Or bringing up failures, those haters. Why are you going to try that again? You tried that before. Why do you even try to lose weight? You lose a little weight and you gain a bunch of weight, right? You got those haters, right? That no matter what's going on, they will find wrong or judgment around what you're trying to do. You're trying to get out of your comfort zone. Like, you're too old for that. Why are you doing that? Why are you dressed in that way? Even my mama has been a hater to me. My hair's up today, but I got pretty long hair right now because of COVID, not being able to get a haircut. And she's actually said to me over the years, when are you going to get your haircut? You're too old to have long hair. Right? But being okay to say, well, that's her belief, right? I don't think she really feels that way now because she's learned to live with me. But there's always going to be someone that has a different opinion, and we just call them haters. They're not really haters, but some of them are. My mama's not a hater, but she questioned me, right? And something I was enjoying and thought, yeah, help me stay young. She put doubt in my head that maybe I shouldn't have my hair long. Maybe I should be more age appropriate. I don't know. Right? So you got the haters out there. Know that I love this. So listen, just for today, know that every winner loses, but not every loser wins. Successful people don't start out successful. Most of the time, they don't. What makes them successful is that they keep pushing through their failures. So whatever you're dealing with today, whether it's employment, financing, your health, your weight, whatever that thing is that still stays at the forefront of your mind, just remember that pushing through is what makes you successful. Every day that we can do this, we are actually living in this day because we live every day, we die one time, right? So one of the things that I want to throw out there about your haters is you still love your haters, right? Or some of them. throwing up the boundaries, right? So what I did is some of the haters that I have around my life, I just know that I'm going to keep doing what I do, and I've spoke my piece about. I put up boundaries, so I don't share as much about some of those things because I don't want my joy questioned, or my integrity questioned, or my spirit questioned. So those people that I know feel the same way, I will share it. Those that want to be haters around it, I don't really share. I'm still going to walk it. They may see me walking it, but I might not have a long conversation about it because I'm not going to argue about something that's in my spirit. Not going to do it. Not going to do it, right? So just practice those boundary settings. You have a right. Boundary is showing love. Showing love for you, showing love for that person. When they get upset about your boundaries, it's because they're trying to cross your boundaries. It's not you, it's them. It is the ultimate love when we can be honest about our boundaries. That also can help us live more purposeful today, every day. Aaron says, I love the haters. They add fuel to my fire. That's the truth. They really do for him. Yeah, I'm pointing because he's right over there. To excel. Come on, haters. Inspire the genius called Aaron Wells, please. Absolutely. And Kim Porter says she likes that, Aaron. You are a trip. But that's so true. You are that person that I've seen it over the 6 years that we've worked together here at PRN. The more there's people saying, nope, can't do that, that's never going to happen, that's too far-fetched, that's too big of a dream, you dig in deep and you inspire all of us to dig in with you. So you keep doing that. So it should inspire all of us. Our next one, I want you to consider to live every day. Die once, you live every day, is don't compromise. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it. Just don't do it. Right? It's you. It's you. You know, when we compromise, we are setting ourselves up. We really are. When we don't follow our gut, you know, when our gut says don't go, don't say, just whatever that is. When we compromise, we are setting ourselves up. Trust yourself. Give yourself grace. Know that you've learned from your past and you're trying to build your future. So your past is there as some reminders, and it can rise up in our spirits. And so when it don't feel right, don't do it. Don't compromise your internal spirit, your code of ethics. When we do that, it feels us living, you know, this emptiness and full of regret. I should have never done that. I should have stood up for what I believed. I sat there like a knot on a log and didn't use my voice to speak my truth. And that person thought my silence was my weakness. But I'm not weak. But I had an opportunity, right? But I compromised myself. And I had that moment that I wasn't willing to take the risk, right? So be who you are so you don't walk away from anything feeling empty. So life doesn't work like a movie. It's kind of filled with, it's not always black and white. There's a lot of gray. And you should trust your instincts. So when things aren't just right or wrong, it's in that gray area. That's when we can trust our instincts. You know, you have that right to sit back and think about a decision, right? You really do. And when you're living your life every day, recognizing that you only die once, you really need to trust yourself because this is your day, right? This is your day. And we don't want to be full of emptiness and regret. So don't compromise. So be kind to others. So, you know, we can show love by giving, but there's a little bit of a difference being kind, showing grace, right? Every day we see someone that needs some kindness. You know, it may be your coworker, it may be someone in your household, maybe a neighbor, you know, someone that, you know, is really struggling. They made a bad decision about something, you know, that we could say, yeah, I told you so. Or we can be kind and say, how can I support you? I've been there. I've made those kind of same decisions. How can I support you? Being kind. Being lonely in a decision is tough. Yeah, it is. So being able to be kind to someone that just realize that they messed up, right? We all do it. We're not perfect every day. If we were present enough in our day and could realize it, there's a bunch of stuff that we do wrong. Think wrong, talk wrong, walk wrong, whatever, right? So be able to be kind, not only to others, but to yourself. Here's the thing about kindness. So for today, I want to put it to a test. Wherever you are, in your family, at work, in the community, when you practice being kind, it catches. When people watch you be kind, when you maybe necessarily didn't have to be, it's an explosion that happens. It really catches on, right? People see it. The next thing you know, they're being kind. It really spreads. So test it out in your environment today. Do some acts of kindness to your family, coworkers, or whatever, and around other people so they see it. Model it. Model it. I mean, make sure it's genuine, but model it because it does catch on. Just like a smile is contagious, so is kindness. That will help you build every day your joy, living intentionally every day. Some of the things, and if you want to chat about this, tell me what are some things that you do that are kind, that you practice every day or try to every day. Some of it may just be some simple things, just calling people, writing some handwritten notes, seeing something that needs to be done in your neighbor's yard. Maybe they're an elderly neighbor and they could use some help, and you just stop what you're doing and you go over there and you help them do that. Maybe one of my other ladies I support, she works in the restaurant industry, and she told me how important paying cash to a waitress or a waiter was, what that meant for them. And so now I'm intentional about every time I go out to eat or I'm going to give a tip, I make sure I try to have cash on me. She said that was kind, and what it did for them to get the cash instead of running it on your card. And that really impressed me because our folks that work in that field work hard, work really, really hard, and have to put up with a lot. So being kind to a waiter or waitress, whether it's through a tip, a comment that you write to the manager, or ask to speak to the manager and say, this waitress is amazing, or whoever cooked my food is awesome, right? This was the best steak I ever had. You don't know how that little act of kindness towards someone you don't even know who the cook is. You probably won't even see them. Being intentional about that every day is living life every day. We've heard about people paying for the food behind someone. That was listed, right? You're at Starbucks or at wherever, and you pay for the person behind you's coffee. And you walk out before they realize that you were the one that did it, right? Treat someone that you love to a special something like a movie or dinner or whatever for no reason. It's not their birthday. It's not their anniversary. Just treating them. Those are some things that, that we can think about being kind. Aaron says, to thine own self be true. It's got to start here. It's got to start here. Being true to yourself every day. These are some things that can roll out from that. Keep an open mind. Yep, keep an open mind. So many people have very, very closed minds. And it's there, you've heard that statement, it's my way or the highway. They're not being open to other things. Having an open mind is important for your growth, number one. If you can do that every day, you can grow like you would not believe. Just because you're right, I love this statement. It really made me think a minute. Just because you're right about something doesn't mean that there aren't other ways to look at it. Have you ever been in your family or a meeting and someone has an idea or several people have an idea about how to do something, and you come up with, you may be the supervisor or the mom or the head of the house or whatever, you say, no, we're going to do it this way. Well, you may be absolutely right, but can you for today or even practice this as part of your living every day? sitting back and considering their options. Yours is right, but theirs might be too. And theirs just might lead to something bigger and better if you keep an open mind. Listen to ideas that you don't agree with. How many of us get really close when we are hit with something that we don't agree with? And our ears shut, we don't hear anything they said. Their first sentence got us, or their first couple of words got us, and we're not open-minded to actually hear what the message is, and we miss it. Don't assume that you know everything about another person, as they always have more to teach us, right? It could be your child, it could be your parents, it could be coworkers, it could be anybody in your life, a grandparent. Just don't assume that you know everything about them. People always have something to teach us if we are living our life day to day and we're looking for those opportunities. Take action. You'll hear people say that all the time. Take action. And you'll hear people say, well, I had an idea one time to create this thing, right? And then all of a sudden, everybody else had the idea, but you didn't take the action, right? Some wonderful things. It's not just open to one person. I think opportunities come if people are open-minded to take action. But if you're not willing to take action, somebody else will. And you all have the same thought, right? So what keeps us held back? What keeps us held back? Ideas are useless if you don't act on them, right? So what ideas do you have today? Because remember, we're living every day. We're dying once and we're living every day. So what are some of the ideas that you've had that you hadn't acted on? Maybe at work or home or whatever. What are some of those things? For today, let's think about it. So the bottom line, living your life to the fullest, discovering a path that works for you, right? Discovering those things. Embracing that we're living every day. Every day. So just for today, decide what's important to you. Take a few more risks. Definitely show more love. Really practice some simple things about being present in the moment. Deep breath. Talk to yourself. Okay, Lisa, you're about to walk in the grocery store. Right? Be more mindful about your surroundings because you miss opportunities. Ignore the haters. Not your responsibility. You do what feels right to you. How it's perceived or received, it's none of your business. Don't compromise who you are. Set up those boundaries. Be kind. Keep an open mind. And get off your you know what and take some action. Even if it's just for today. Even if it's just for today. So if this is true, if this is really true, that we're going to live every day, we're going to concentrate more on those days instead of you only live once. You really only die once, but you live every day. Quit saying you only live once. If we can get that out of our mouth and our walk, maybe that could help us live every day. Yeah, we're going to think about the die. We're going to die once. Maybe if we can just think about that once, then all the other days will mean more. Because they're ticking off, right? They're ticking off. So love yourself. Be kind. Think about some of these things just for today if you want to. I hope you found this helpful. Write this down. We only live once. It's wrong. You die once. You live every day. Maybe today you can let that be your slogan. Maybe for the next week that could be your slogan. Write it on your mirror, write it on a notebook, something that you see across your computer screen, whatever. Maybe write that and start thinking about how you can live today, every day, instead of that you only live once, right? take some risk, love on each other. You know, here at PRN, we are doing a lot of this. You know, PRN is trying to live each and every day, take every moment, every opportunity that we have to show life, recovery, that it's possible, probable, because we are living examples that recovery happens. And we do that in many ways. These classes are just one way that we do that. Another way that we do it is through our warm line. It's our free confidential 24/7. These are peer support specialists with Promise Resource that answer those phones. The number's there, 833-390-7728. You can call at any time. If you're feeling distressed, you need someone to talk to. These are folks that are in recovery. They've had life happen. They're in recovery. They're just far enough along in their recovery now to reach back and help others, right? And so they listen with warm hearts. They share their own lived experience. They have resources. Sometimes you just need an ear. That's what we're doing, all right? The other thing is I want to bring your attention to is Ms. Kim Porter runs our front desk, and Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. The number's there, 704-390-7709. If you want to learn more about Promise Resource, if you want to speak to me or any of the other facilitators, you want to find out more about peer support, employment, anything out there in recovery, you want a different type of recovery, you want a different fresh look around recovery, give us a call. Kim will definitely connect you with one of us or with me, Lisa K. So many of us that come on tell you all this. So spread the word because we're here. Guys, thank you so very much for coming on today and chatting with me today. Such wonderful things that you brought to our conversation. I do appreciate it. So just for today, just remember, we only die once and we live every day. So be purposeful about today, even if it's just for today. We'll see you next Friday at 11:30 for some more conversations. Please share this on your social media, Facebook. We're streaming live to Facebook and YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that. But keep sharing this so this word of recovery, this hope can keep going and going and going. You never know who it's going to reach. So we appreciate everything you guys do to help us and keep the word spread around recovery, the PRN way. So we love you. We'll see you next week, and I hope you have an amazing weekend. Bye.